My name, Elizabeth Lafferty. Let me,
Handley, Elizabeth Handley.
oh, yeah, Elizabeth Hamlin Lafferty. Well, I'm Elizabeth Lafferty longer than I was Hamlin. Yeah. I was born in Cheriton on the Ike Reed's family. Mother come off mainland. They were living on Myrtle Island. And she came off for me to be born. And we stayed a month. Then we went back to the island. I had an uncle and that lived on the island with us in a small house, and then we lived in another house, just small little houses. Well, they stayed there for about, I can remember a little bit, but not too much about them. But when they moved off, my dad had moved the houses together, and we had a breezeway between them. And we had chickens and ducks and boats and stuff around, and cows. And so when we got a little larger, we used to go chase the cows up to the house so they could be milked. And then as we growed older, we used to fiddle around in the creek. And I had a brother and a sister, which is about Eddie's 5 years younger than I am, and Jim was 2.5 years. And we were more or less the only ones around. We just played together and fight together, and I guess no, because I don't remember having fights. But we did, I'm sure, because I know all about the fighting. And I know one day Daddy went to mainland. And while he was gone, he told us before he left, says, don't you take the boat out. Don't go out on the water while I'm gone. It was flood tide, and I come up, and it was really pretty, everything was calm. We slipped down through the creek there and had the boat out. We happened to look up. We saw him come around a point of marsh. So we run and put the boat back. And Jim threw the anchor up on the deck, and on the dock, and rolled back, mashed up the tub. So every time they told me to do something, he'd run and do it for me. That got a little better. Then we were just tiny kids. Just like, well, I must have been 5 years old, and he was close to 3, something like that. But it seemed like we were grown and active, a whole lot active, most of the children, at that time. Because, the children didn't move around and do much until they were 2 years old. But anyhow, we stayed down there, and we had pigs. We'd gather the eggs from the chickens, and the old pig would come and get eggs lots of time. And we'd try to keep the pigs out of the chicken yard. And we had our own food, raised it, had eggs, and Daddy killed hogs. We had chickens, had milk, had little houses looked like, I don't know, up on the still slate. We had our milk, thing like that. And Mom made her cheese. We skimmed the milk, that way. And then I imagine he was about 5 years old. We used to go down to the beach a lot. Because Daddy, I think it was like that time that Senator Byrd came down. And they got Daddy to make a contact with him to run the telephone pole, telephone line from Smith Island up to Shintig. And we had steers, and he made a pin on a monitor for the steers, and they had new coils of wire and everything. But the cables then were them great big old, looked like chains. And he used them to pull the wires from one side of the beach to the other. And they'd settle the poles. But before they had the telephone, they had these scaffolds, they were called. And they were made in pyramids with, and at the top they had a crossboard, one painted black and one painted, well, they got muslin paint on one and black paint on the other. And I imagine it was for that survey they called. And you could see the boats off in the ocean. And my half-brother, I had a half-brother and a half-sister there, two half-brothers. Well, my half-sister, she worked on Smith Island. And Daddy and Albert would go over to the beach, walk the beach a little bit at night to see if they see any lights or anything offshore. And that way they would communicate with the station on Smith Island. I mean, yeah, that's Smith Island, yeah. And then after he got the telephone, he put a telephone in our place, and we could talk to each station. And they used to have a ring, I don't know, it was a big box telephone with a receiver. And they have a ring, long and short. Smith Island was one long, and our house was a long and a short. Cobb's Island was the next one. Then they had one on Hog Island. I don't remember them having one on Bone Island or Godwin's Island, or well, they called it New Inlet at the time. But Godwin's Island and New Inlet was mostly together. They just had a little green going through there, and Godwin's Island was on the inside, more or less, just had a point like in the ocean. So we stayed in there till I was 9 years old.
Well, did you meet Daddy while you were on the islands?
Now, my daddy didn't own the island.
No, but Daddy, you met him while he was on Godwin Island?
My daddy was,
Godwin Island? Daddy,
Well,
my daddy.
yeah.
Did you meet him while he was on
Yeah,
Godwin?
no, we didn't meet him. I didn't know him till after we come to mainland, because they came out earlier. Their children were a little older, and they come off a little older. And we went back to the islands in the summertime, and then come back, and the first time we come off, Daddy rented some rooms in the old big hotel down at Oyster. We had some of those rooms until we found a place. It was a mess, because you couldn't find houses then. People, they owned their own house. They'd have them rent. You'd have to go around and just find, you never seen so many houses at that time. But we had a lot of relatives offshore. The Crumbs and was Obama and Aunt Emma Crumb and their children. Well, I've got all my records anyhow, on my side. I didn't know my daddy's people much. He had some sisters and a half-brother, because he was living on the island with his brother when he met my mother. And mother had been married before, and she had 3 children by her first husband. And then he got drowned, and she came off to the mainland. And she taken him washing and done different things at that time to support her children. And he fed her by taking his clothes there to be washed. So finally they got married. And then that's when they moved back to Myrtle Island, because his half-brother was then there. And Steve was like O.S. Campbell on the island. But Daddy just was more or less like a caretaker. And then he got up the senator, and they wanted him to stay there. And I think O.S. Campbell asked him if he would stay. And in that way, Sister got a job over at the lodge bungalow they had over there. Yeah. And so then, when I got 9, Addie was 5. And we come off and we got whooping cough, we got every kind of disease was going.
When you came off the island?
I went to Pine Grove School. And after I finished school there, we went out to Cheriton. And while I was at Pine Grove, I used to go to church every Sunday. We had a church up on the hill there where Viola Taylor now lives. And I guess I was about, to go into 4th grade when we moved to church. I think that was somewhere around 1926. We moved the church down where it's at now, down Point.
You kept going back to the island for vacation or for summers?
Yeah.
How old were you when you stopped there?
Well, when I was in school, when the school was out, we'd go back, and then we'd come back. Well, lots of times we'd go to our relatives. Mama had brothers, 2 brothers. One lived up at Exmoor, and both of them lived at Exmoor. And we'd go visit them, and then go over to Cheriton, visit with our aunt.
And they were Smiths.
Yeah, all the Smiths. Mama had 2 brothers and 3 sisters over there.
Well, Emma Crum, Jenny Charnock, Lizzie Parker,
And Daisy,
and the brothers
Harvey and John
Smith.
Smith.
How about,
They're all passed away. And most of their children has passed away. All the Crumbs is gone except 2, and that's Emily and Eunice.
and Ron,
And- Huh?
Emily and Eunice.
Yeah, Emily and Eunice.
How many people?
But that's right.
How many people lived on Myrtle Island?
How many people lived there at one time? It
Where,
was just
where
one
on the
family.
island? Nobody but our family.
Just your family?
Yeah, it's on the island. In 1918, I can remember that. I guess we were on the island, and we had a freeze-up. I mean, it was frozen all the way to the beach. And my brother, our half-brother, they taken a little boat and come ashore to get some food. And we didn't have any flour. And Mama fried chicken with oatmeal. Breaded it with oatmeal. And that was good. We enjoyed it. It was a lot of things. See, kill pigs every year, and we had our own food. One time, we were going back in fall. I was small then, and we were on a boat. We hadn't had a boat long because it had sails, you know. We had this boat, and we couldn't get across the flat, so we had to go at the inlet. And the engine caught on fire. And we had flour and cornmeal where we'd been to the mill. And he taken the barrel of flour and put it on the fire and put it out, so it wouldn't burn the boat, you know. But we were scared of that. I guess we wasn't so bad, but Mom was bad. It was just Mom and Jim and Ed and I and Mom and Daddy on the boat. He put the flour on the end and then on the and put
What
it
are
out.
some things that you can remember doing as a child on the island? What did y'all do for fun?
Huh?
What did you do for fun when you were children on the
Oh,
island?
we would find the prettiest bottles on the shore.
Bottles?
And we had catalogs, and we cut our paper dolls out and we put them all in there and had different sections. And we jumped rope, we had shoot marbles, hide and so seek, little things like that. Or the grown-ups, they mostly played cards or carved or something like that.
Anybody play any musical instruments?
Oh, they'd come over.
They come over?
But see, it was, Nut Steelman, he had a watch house down there, and Jim Tubbs, he had the island next to us. We planted watermelons over there, and we used fish, old skates and all, for fertilizer. Sometimes the old possums or things would get the seeds out, we had to go back and plant them over again. But that was over on Mink Island, right, you know, a little island way off from it. That was no bigger than hardly in this
Who were
room.
the visitors over there?
Huh?
Who would come over there? You
Well,
said
different one.
Senator Byrd.
Yeah, he was the one come down, and at that time he used to come down there, and when he came, he'd bring us candy. You know, the children crazy about that, you know, and books. He'd bring Mom a lot of books, and one of the books was the sinking of Titanic, and she gave that to me in 1930, before she died, and. She had Longfellow, 2 or 3 more library books. We had Christmas tree down there. We had pigs. In the summertime, they'd bring down ice covered with canvas and paper. And Daddy made, in the sand hills, he could fix a place we have ice, a place where we'd go get some ice once in a while. But you know, that was in late years too. But they come over on Sunday sometime, they bring lemons, we have lemonade. But when I was small, Daddy had some friends, people that come down to gun. And they come down for their vacation and gun for birds, whatever down there. We had a few rabbits, we didn't have many. But we had cats, we had a dog. We had a dog come ashore off the boat sunk.
A boat song?
And we had that boat. After I was married, we had that dog, and it died. It had a black eye, and the rest of them was white. They called him an English bulldog.
You've got a picture of him, haven't you?
Yeah. We have pictures of him, 2 or 3 of them.
What was Christmas like on the island?
Huh?
What did y'all do for Christmas?
Well, we had a Christmas tree.
See
I
the
know one
tree?
time they had these candle holders, and they lit them candles and the tree burnt, and they threw it outdoors. It was snowing.
But did you make each other presents or?
Mom, let's see, Daddy go ashore, and Mom would send a letter off, you know, like Uncle Harvey, you know, they would send some money, and they get us whatever she want, and bring it down to Archer, and we get it that way. But mostly what we had was cookies and the candy that they made. After Grover and I were married, he used to tell me about them. They used to live on Walk-On until Captain Hal bought the New England, Godwin's Island. And they had, he said he never had no candies and nothing like that. Only thing they had was gingerbread cookies, and they hang them on the tree with popcorn and berries, making Papa used to tell me how they used to live. But I knew more about Grover's family there in the end, and I didn't make my own. Because we married 63 years before he passed away.
Can you describe Myrtle Island? What did it look like?
What did the island look like?
It was a channel one, and the Goblin's Island was next, and then a channel, and this was and we had a slough that came in, like, and that all the rest of that was an island bordered on the Atlantic Ocean, and it run down, I'll say, I guess about 2 miles, and see the cows would be down there, and Jim and I would run them up, and one day we were going there running the cows up. Well, it was just about, I imagine, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the evening. And, we had a lot of ships come ashore, and they looked like mountains out there. We had a lot of, most of everything imaginable come ashore on the beach, lumber and all kinds of things. And we'd have to, we were coming up the beach, and we heard Dad and Mom and them talking about this airplane dropping bombs, and all. We never had seen an airplane, but we hear them talking about it. And we come up to the everybody to the house, up to where we turn off to come up to. See, we come up like this and then we come into up to the house, because we had a great big hill between the house and the ocean. So we've seen this thing coming in there. We didn't know what it was, and I guess I was the oldest. I guess I told him it was our plane, and we got afraid we were going to get bombed, and we crawled under the wood so they couldn't see us, and that thing kept right on going down towards Smith Island. It's out next to us, but it had little greens like from the ocean, go in into the seesaw marshes and all.
That was the first time she'd seen a plane.
So,
You said there was a big hill between
oh
the
yeah,
house and the ocean?
we had a big hill just right on that. When we coming in from mainland, we always come down and come in the slough and come up to the house. Was I'll say about 20 foot or 30 foot from where the tide come into. And then that curl around, we catch oysters and clams out there on the mud flat. And last time I was in Myrtle's, that hill had gone, and part of the creek had filled up with sand. But when we moved that day from the breakers was breaking on our back porch, and that big sand hill was gone. So that's part of the reason too why we moved off.
There are a lot of Cheriton turtles on Myrtle Island. Cheriton turtles, a lot of turtles on the island.
Yeah.
Myrtle,
Were the turtles,
the
Oh.
diamondback terrapins,
The turtles.
a lot of turtles.
diamondbacks?
We never left the turtles much. We had some around there, but my husband, he used to turtle
Dad,
there.
oh God.
See, we were married. We were married in '29, and he died before we were married, and Mom died a year after. She died in September.
Your daddy used to bring turtles and ship them.
When we had the 33 storm.
Were you on the island?
No, right where I live now. I've been there 60-some years.
Mother, you've been there longer than that. I was born there.
63 years. I mean, it was
70.
it was 73 years, because she was born in 1930.
I was born in that rise that she lives in now.
And then, when after
Huh?
I know Barbara was 3 years old. She was born in March. That's 33 storm hit on the 23rd day of August. And my brother's wife was staying with me. They had just got married, and she was pregnant. And Barbara was a baby and had a folded quilt on the floor. And Grover's dad and Captain George and all them were on the watch house, and they had a boat, and they got on top of the watch house and crawled over in the boat and cut the line. Well, by the time they did that, the wind shifted and they went up Gulf Marsh, so near back to Cobham's Island. And my brother, my half-brother, my brother, and my husband were all out in a boat, and they were down to Lennon Island. That's right down that close to Skidmore, darling. Clamming. They'd been out 2 weeks, and they had laid the clams out, and he said, well, they went up in there and laid the clams out. It was a great big hill. And he said, Wednesday morning, see, let's hit on Tuesday night, evening. Wednesday morning, said when they woke up, that hill had washed level.
Overnight.
That was the term.
What did they do?
And see, where our pop was, Captain Joe West was there.
That was Paul Lafferty.
And he is in a watch house, and they lost him. And it was some more people. The Coast Guard tried to get him come ashore, but he wouldn't do it. Well, Pop and them didn't think it was going to be bad, so they stayed aboard the boat. And after they had that, they had a bottle, and they had a piece of fat meat, and they stuck it in this bottle and set it on fire, so they'd have a little bit of light. Pop. So the next day, I called Shink Tig and told them that they were missing. And they wanted to know where our location was. I thought Pop. Well, they went and got him then. They called the way they called it. After they went there, and that was on Thursday, and they brought Pop ashore. Well, we were all really upset. We hadn't heard a thing. Captain George would go out and look to see a part of the house or a part of the boat or something. There was nothing there. He'd come back every night and report to me what was happening. Well, we were getting ready to go back down to Oyster on a Friday. Jim's wife and I. And she had one room over here, and I had one over here, and we had a whole bag. And she asked me something about something she wanted, and she started over to where I was, and when she did, we heard somebody downstairs, and it was Grover. And they come into Oyster, loaded down with clams.
They thought
And
they
he,
was
for,
lost.
and they
were
didn't
so
even
worried
tie,
about
they
it.
hadn't even tied the boat up. They hadn't even tied that boat up at all. He jumped clean over on the dock and run out to the road, and it was a salesman out there, had just started off, and he jumped on his running board, and he said he wanted to ride to Cheriton because he'd been out, and they thought he was gone, and he gave him a ride out to Cheriton. And he would come, Grover was coming upstairs 2 steps and died. But that was a happy time.
He didn't know what they were so worried about, though. He knew where he was.
We didn't know where he was, because, see, he didn't tell me when he went out, because he'd been gone out 2 weeks. And I had no idea what part of it. You know, he worked on his water all the time. Every hurricane, he was out there in the water, but one. And when he wasn't out there, he was down to Oyster looking after them boats.
They didn't have any
He said,
warning. They didn't have any warning.
No, they just thought it was northeaster. You know how to. Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think it was the tidal wave. Could have been a meter causing that tidal wave. But anyhow, that's all in the past. And the Lord's taking care of it.
What was the Cobb Island Hotel like? I mean, the hotel in Oyster, what was that like?
When I lived up there, that's where I started school from. That was nice. We had it all right. We had friends around. And we liked it because we had a long front porch upstairs. Yeah, I never got a picture of that.
Did a lot of people stay there before they went out to Cobb Island?
Huh?
Did people
Yeah,
stay there?
we stayed at Mom would send us to school. Then they'd go out to work and come back.
Well,
And
people-
weekends, they just stay a week.
Would people stay there before they go over to the island, to Cobb Island,
What?
and at the hotel in Oyster?
They went down in the up to the oyster grounds and things. They didn't know.
Or during,
They go out there and pick up oyster and clams and stuff.
I didn't get what you were saying. Oh, why don't you just say it?
Can you describe, when you were living on the island, just your family, can you describe what your day was like and how you
Describe.
ate?
Describe what?
Describe what your day was like and the type of things you ate when you lived on Myrtle Island.
When I was on Myrtle's,
Yeah, like when you woke up in the morning, what's the first thing you did? Or what did you find your mama doing when you woke up in the morning on the island? What was it?
generally we had oatmeal.
Had oatmeal.
We have breakfast, we have dinner, and we have supper.
yeah, but what kind? What would you have for a regular meal?
Well, mostly, lots of times we had a lot of seafood. And then you could go out there and get you some gull eggs if you didn't have none. But now you can't even look at them until you don't get them fine. And we had crabs. And Daddy fished. He had fish pan bowls. And he did all
They
kinds.
had a vegetable garden there, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, always. Well, we got all them from Uncle Harvey, by the crates. Yeah, Uncle Harvey and Uncle John, they were farmers. And we come down, they shipped them down there to Cheriton Station, and they had somebody bring them down to Oyster. That Oyster, I think that people that lived at Oyster was really, I think all of them's gone. I can't remember of anybody living now that lived there then.
Virginia Simpson.
Oh, she was Hog Island.
She-
No, I'm talking about when I was living down there. I lived in a houseboat when we come up after we stayed. When we moved from the hotel, Daddy, we moved in a floating house. And we were parked, Barnett Stillman had his house. I think that's gone too now.
I think so.
And it was an artesian well right down there.
Yes.
And that's where we got our water. Everybody down there. What's that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 artesian wells. Armstrong had them put down there. They have way out there on we call it it's going out of my mind now.
What did you do during the day? Was it just you and your brother and your mom and your dad
And sister.
and sister? So what did you do during the day?
What did I do? What?
What did you do during the day to fill the day up?
When you were
Oh, we'd find something to do, or they'd find it for us.
was it a lot of work?
Well, if we had probably the things that we're supposed to do, I can't remember.
What were your chores?
Huh?
What were your chores?
What did you do? You milked the cow.
Anything I wanted to do. Most of going down the beach. We had steers with a cart, and we could go ride down the beach too. And I remember that because we had one that ran away and went in the surf and got drowned. remember that one.
You have a pony?
Huh?
Pony?
Bowling,
Did you have a pony or horses over there?
oysters.
Horses.
Well,
Was that when you came in town and
Oh,
She
we-
had a pony over here, I know.
yeah, I tell you, when we were there, we were kind of small. We'd go out with them sometime, eating clams. We'd like that. They'd tie a tub behind them and put the clams in it. And where the water was shallow, we'd be out there. And we'd pick up oysters or clams or whatever we wanted. We used to do a call. I can't remember of ever having to go out and buy anything much. Because they'd go ashore and they buy meal and the flour, buy the big tubs of barrels, we call them barrels. They were solid, you know, and had a lid on them. And he killed hogs. He salt them down. And we had a kitchen, like an old kitchen, we call it. We had them all in there. The meat and everything was put back in there, like our little pantry.
How did your family make money?
How'd you make money? How did your dad make money?
Selling oysters and clams. They had them at the mainland.
Was he paid for the telephone
No,
lines?
well, I couldn't tell you that. But I don't remember what they paid, anything. They paid him, I imagine, furnished him some stuff or what, I don't know. But he had this great big monitor, and we had two great big old sears. And they had to he used to make the yolk and bend it, you know, had a oak wood and have it bent up, and he'd have something to draw it like this to keep it so it would go up around the neck, and it had a plug to put through it and to hold these big, they had them on the shoulders.
Where did he get the wood from?
The wood,
Yeah, where did he get that wood?
you can get wood anytime on the beach.
Just washed up on the beach?
Yeah. Well, a boat would sink off there. Everything would wash up on the beach.
Did he carve decoys?
We had everything on the beach you could think of. Fish, clams, oysters, birds.
Did anything unusual wash
We
up
never
on the beach?
thought much about anything like that. I mean, small. I don't know what the mother and dad did about it. But when we come off to go to mainland, and we go down Carver to Uncle John's, we go to these church fires. You know, they have a stake that have a whole lot of leaves over the top to keep it be shaded. And we used to go to church fires and things like that, socials. And amongst
Did
ourselves,
your father ever carve? Did he ever carve anything?
No, Bud and Albert. with little
Your
pa-
two half brothers.
Yeah, yeah. I think you have.
Bud and
Albert.
would carve. We don't
Yeah,
have
they were
any-
Laffertys. See, Mom was married twice. She married a Lafferty first. And he got drowned. And that was Grover's dad's brother. Then when I first seen Grover, can remember the first time I'd seen him, he had on these knickers with the leather leggings. It was right along back to the First World War, you know, that war. They used to wear leggings made out of leather. He had on a pair of them, and his pants were sticking off like this. And, you know, we thought it was comical and all. And we were living on the float house then. And he saw me, that's the first time he remembered me. It was when I was on the floating house.
How old
And
were
we had a watermelon. And he was off from a distance. And Jim and Willie Crumb was down there. And I think they were talking to him. Then we got to go in church. And then when we went to church. Then when we moved off the island, we had ponies. We brought off 2 ponies with us, my pony and Jim's. Well, Jim's pony, we drove to school. And we used to tie tie the pony at the Cheriton school on to a stake. And they go out at 12 o'clock and put his head in the corn out there. Then we hook him up, go back. We unhook him, you know, and just tie him up there. Then we hook him up and carry him back. And we have every weekend, we had to clean the stable. We had to brush that pony down every time we used it. Don't tell us. The children wanted a pony, and Floyd was going to bring a pony down. I said, indeed, you don't bring no pony down here. I didn't want no pony. That was when Reese was living, you know.
So how did your family come to live on the islands? Why were they there?
Well, Dad and I guess him and his brother, half-brother, come down and settled there. And they were from up in Maryland, Wild-Comical County. Maryland, isn't that the county up there? That? Mm-hmm. And that's where he was from. But I never did know anything about his people. I think I seen one of his aunts. He had a sister named Addie. And he had a half-brother named John Hamlin. Well, my brother, Jim, he's dead now. He died in 83.
Jim Hamlin.
Yeah, Jim Hamlin, I'm talking. He's Wilson's boy. And his wife is still living. She's an invalid, but she's still living. She can't walk. And you know Faye Sturgis? That's her daughter. You know Faye? She teaches school.
So when they came down from Maryland,
They were, most of the time, they work on a boat, on boats. A lot of them work, you know, they take lumber and they go from place to place.
right. So did they just decide to go live on an island?
Pardon?
Did they just decide to go live on the island? Were there already houses there, or did they have to build a house, or how did they?
They had that already I guess, I presume they did. I don't know.
Did they build the house?
But on the island was already built, I think. Well, I knew anything about it.
What, your father's brother had
Uh-huh.
already built the house?
I don't know that.
Her father's brother was the first one on there.
So do you?
You get grants. Now, whether they had a grant, I don't know. No, he must not have had a grant, but I think they were connected with O.S. Campbell in New York.
Why did he go? Why was your half-uncle on the island in the first place?
He didn't own the island.
No, why was he on it?
I imagine he went there for a keeper or a watchman or something. I have no idea.
Well, why did your father go over there to join him?
Huh? He was living with him.
Yeah, but why did he go to live with him? Why did he go over there?
Who, Daddy? Well, I guess when they carried Mom over there, before I...
Oh, that's when he went, when he took...
Well, Mama didn't know nothing about it, I don't think. Well, see, I didn't know nothing about that. The only thing I knew is I lived on the island for 9 years. And we had these little ups and downs and, you know, running around. We had...
It's like everybody else has, like, was working there in the lighthouse or had some function.
Some reason to be
Yeah.
there, well...
You know, in olden times, children didn't ask questions. And they didn't tell them much. We were ignorant until we come offshore. And most of what we learned, well, we have to ask questions. That's all I know. Because I know this man, this Uncle John, whatever he was, when he died, I think, before Mom died, before Mom and him was married. So I imagine he stayed right on to the island. And from what I can understand, he was buried at sea. But yet, I have his burying plot in Cape Charles Cemetery.
So
Did I remember when I got it?
That they showed up and
Well, there was 2 or 3 linesmen up there. You know, they had to put it in. And it was one of the tall ones like this. It had batteries in it. And rang and I used to use some.
Was that while you were on the island?
Yeah, that was on the Myrtles.
Do you remember how old you were when they got it?
I imagine I was 3 or 4 years old.
So that was,
I imagine I was like that.
Right.
I can't remember exactly, but ages.
Did your mama make your clothes?
Yeah, she made some, but my sister's done most of it. She was older. She's a big lady. And she worked over there. She worked with Campbell. More or less, it was more or less like a chambermaid when she went there. But she learned to cook. They brought a French cook down and taught her to cook. So she used to cook for them. And there used to be a bunch that come down. And they had all these bedrooms and bathrooms down there. And before they had the telephone, they used to have this wireless. I remember the wireless because they had them on mainland, you know. Eunice's husband, when he was a boy, he had one in his bedroom.
what is that?
Huh?
What's a wireless?
what is a wireless?
That.
Yeah, the code.
Do it again?
Huh?
What is it?
They had those, what is it they're called? Morse codes? Yeah, they taught Morse codes.
Do you have any stories or any about the bungalow? The bungalow?
The bungalow, well, I used to go there a lot. That was, Granville was about 9 years old, and I was older. And my sister would come ashore at Magotha. You know where Magotha is. And we'd go down on Saturday to pick her up. And if they didn't have gas, she wouldn't have to go back maybe 2 or 3 days. But most of us, she come home every weekend.
Now this
And
was
finally-
Aunt Mag.
Well, and then finally she met Mr. Gloucester and married him, and she gave up her job over there.
Well, it was really not, the bungalow was very nice, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
I have 2 pictures of it, and I can't believe something that nice was out on the island. It looked, they had
Where did you get your pictures?
Granville.
They're her pictures.
What, look, a young Granville?
Actually, Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Ruth.
Ruth taking Granville's pictures, those pictures. See, I give those to Granville because he hadn't seen them.
Did you give them to him or loan them to him?
Well, in fact, I thought right much of Granville because we were chums a long time. I mean, just really good friends. Because May used to tend to him because he was the infant. She had him. She went off mainland and had him, his hug. Then she got pregnant with Al Stephen, and they come back on the island. Al Stephen, I guess, I got pictures of her. I got Miss Hogs. She was Miss Mister. She married a Mister after Mr. Hogg died.
Did most women come off the island to have their babies?
The women come off the island to have their babies?
Miss Hogg, yeah.
What about your mom?
Mr. Hogg was from Gloucester, over that way. But she was around here. She was a Daisy Riley. I don't. You didn't remember him. You know Bernie Riley.
Yes.
Well, they had a big home there. That old man Charlie Riley, and there was some relation in there. I don't know, but they're all dead now. Just the young ones. Frances is dead. I don't think Martha's dead. She's in a home across the bay.
Did
kind of trees and shrubs and things were there
But on the
on
island,
the island?
mosquitoes was one thing. Not crepe myrtle, they were marsh grass and the pines. They had on Smith Island. You talking about now? Oh, on our island, we didn't have nothing much. We didn't have no pines and stuff. But the tallest things we had on our island mostly was the hills, the scaffolds, the marsh grass, was smaller, and those myrtle bushes. That's all we had.
Were you schooled from the time, you were 5 or 6 up until you moved out? Did you get any schooling while you were out there?
Did I have any what?
Did you have any schooling while you were
Only
on
what
the
mom,
island?
only what mom would teach us, A, B, and C, and 1, 2, 3. Write a name, something like that. I know when Jim and I, water was our worst problem. And we used to catch rainwater. Had barrels, big barrels of water. Had troughs running in them. When Jim and I would go down the beach, we'd get so thirsty. And we get down one of these hills. You take one of them big shells and you dig, and water would come up. And you get a drink of water with the shells.
Was it salt water?
No, it was brackish a little bit, but we drinking. We were thirsty. But everybody did it. But then they tried to get water down there, but we come up brackish. Most of the people would carry water.
So you carried water in from the mainland?
Huh?
How did they get water to drink? Besides rain?
Oh, the rainwater, and did you take water from the mainland too?
Yeah, sometimes. Carry in barrels. No big scows.
What did your mother wash clothes in? Did she wash it in salt water or did she wash it in rainwater?
Did your mother wash clothes with rainwater or salt water?
Rainwater. We have washed tubs and boards. I did too. I had them too. I washed all my children's clothes, and I didn't have no diapers or Pampers. I had cloth diapers.
And how did you bathe?
Huh?
Did you bathe in the rainwater or did you go out in the salt water?
We go down and bathe, and we come back and rinse off. In summertime, in wintertime, we had a big tub to get in.
How did you heat your house?
Huh?
How'd you heat the house?
We had in the kitchen, we had a great big old cook stove with an oven. And when we get real cold, Mom would open the oven and let us sit there with our feet on the door where it was warm.
But what was in the oven? Was it coal or was it...
What did you burn?
When we burned,
Was it a wood stove?
well, we had coal too, but we get we used the wood and cook, and then they would put coal in there, and it would keep it till morning.
Did you get the coal off the beaches? Where did you get the coal?
He'd been down in Scab. You could get it from the mainland.
Okay.
But down there the oysters changed so much. They've cut that down. There was a big hill there. They drive right down to you. It's a little thing that comes into the mill pond. They call it mill pond now. And there was a big hill there, and it was a house there. Downstairs, the people bought clams and things. They had a big place there for clams. Well, when Jim was born, Mama had 3 rooms up there for a month. Upstairs, we had Dr. Good. He was our doctor. He was my doctor and all my children's doctors until Betty Jo was born. She went to the hospital.
Did the doctors ever go to the islands?
Huh?
Did a doctor ever go to the islands?
He used to come over there and gamble.
Gamble?
You talking about Dr. Good?
Yeah. Yeah, him and Long Haley and all them. Go gunning. We couldn't go over there. We couldn't get in that part of the house when they were there.
Oh. You weren't allowed to go over there.
No, no. See, we had a breezeway by that side. That was, we told them not to go over there. We didn't go.
Did you have church services or anything on Sunday mornings on the islands?
Do you have any kind of religious service or anything on the island on Sunday?
Well, they said blessing when they eat, and Mom read the Bible. Daddy didn't have as much education as Mom, and she would read the Bible to us. But when we come off, we go to the chapel. First off, we didn't have the chapel. It was Salem's church up there, right off of Mars Street. This is a church in Cheriton. It was formed from that church at Salem. And that was a pretty church. It was wooden, and it had a white picket fence all right, and they had a graveyard all in that. In fact, that's where Captain Lafferty's buried.
How did you light your house at night?
That lamps,
What kind?
all lamps.
Oil?
In fact, I had mine lit the other night.
I use them when we lose electricity.
Well, when we have a storm, I have to have a light.
How did you get mail?
I do.
How'd you get mail?
With the boat, when they come off mainland. Sometimes you wouldn't get mail for a week, too. And then we'd get those great big sugar cookies. You remember that? Great big old sugar cookies. And I had a box, like this big, had a lid. I gave to Grover Lee not long ago. He wanted that. He said when we seen that box come out, we were so happy, Mom. He was telling me that's what I kept my Christmas thing, my Christmas ball.
I didn't know you were giving it away.
No, Papa wanted it. But he's the youngest boy, Grover Lee, my baby boy.
Was there anything interesting or unusual that you found on the beaches? Do
You
you
know?
remember anything really specific that you found on the beaches that was interesting or unusual?
Well, you know, they had these glass balls. We find them. We find things like that, things that float up on the beach.
Bottles.
Pretty bottles. And we have a nice time with the bottles. We had
That big clay bottle that you found.
I didn't find that. That was Uncle Will. Uncle Will found that down in Lennon Island. I want to ask somebody else, have you heard anything about a hospital being on Lennon Island back in the early teens? Have you heard anything
On
about?
which island?
Huh?
On which island?
On which island?
Lennon Island. They called it Lennon Island.
I don't know what.
I went there. I can remember that when I was a child.
What do they call Lennon Island now?
I think it's the island next, the bridge is on.
Fisherman?
Yeah, that one.
Fisherman Island?
Yeah, I think that was called Lennon Island.
And there was a hospital on it?
And it was a hospital on it. When the boys come back from service and they were crippled, they had them there.
I have heard that.
You heard it?
I have heard that.
Well, see,
I have remember that when I was little. I went there, and to get up there, they had these steps made with wood, and you had to crawl. And it was low tide when we were there. But Daddy's biggest boat, I think he had to carry it around to go get it overhauled. I guess that's the way it was, because I don't know why I was on that boat, but I remember that Lennon Island. And I got a stone, what is it, not stone, it's more clay bottle. I'll give it to Skip. Have you?
yeah.
Has you got it now?
He's got it.
On the side, looked like one of these old-fashioned boats with sails. And one side where I had chafed in the sand.
It's been rough.
And one day he was up there, and I told him about it. I told him it had a history. I told him it was a history. And I give it to him, and it's a good thing that fellow didn't see it when you come out. He'd clean that too, wouldn't he?
We have about, what, 2 minutes? We have about 2 minutes left. Anything? Yeah. We have about 2 minutes left. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you'd like to share with us? You've done a great job.
Well, I don't know. Well, I've had a happy life. I've got 10 living children. And the Lord has blessed me and my children. I think that's a wonderful record.
Yes.
We lost Daddy, what, 6 years ago?
Uh,
We lost Daddy was it
10 years ago,
10? I can see
he
it.
died in 1992 on May the 6th. And he had cancer. Other than that, he always worked on the water. And
He was a good
Yeah.
dad.
I can believe
I
that.
haven't seen his equal since.
Were you born on the island?
No, I was born in like Reed's Farm on Cheriton.
That's on the first of the tape.
Okay.
Yes.
Since she came to Cheriton and other.
I've had a full life.
But she was on the island at the time.
They were living on the island, but her mother came ashore to have
But see,
the babies.
and that the island that we had was Godwin's Island. I paid taxes on it for
That was Daddy.
ever since 1930. And we sold it to the,
Now, I worried there for a while. I didn't think she wanted to.
All right, you're going to tell us about the turtles. Tell her about the turtles.
well, that would be connected with the 33 storm.
33 storm, okay. That's fine.
Go ahead, and 33 storm.
What is that?
I haven't got my hearing aid adjusted right.
You started to talk about the 33 storm and the turtle. Go ahead, you can go now. You can start now.
The 33 storm, what did they do to the turtles?
When at the 33 storm, and we thought all of them was lost. Grover had been catching turtles, and he had a pen under the watch house, and he had all his turtles in there. He had orders for them in the fall. He carried them up to Bartlett Hayward, up in Annapolis, Maryland. They liked turtles, and they had this turtle soup, and all. But I don't. That's all that I know about that. But
But
that was then they went to Godwin's Island. See,
Yeah.
they had a watch house over in God, but that was Grover's people.
that was Paul
And we were
Lafferty,
we were
Greg
married.
Lafferty.
We were married about 3 years then.
Can you talk about, what's the other island?
When they took the island?
Godwin's Island.
Godwin Island, when the government came in, Daddy had all of his oyster grown and everything there, and they wouldn't let him work it.
Oh, they had that for bumming range, And that Stillman tried to get the island away from us. And he couldn't do it because he didn't have no deed or nothing. And I had all my papers, see, where I had paid the taxes on it all these years. But Albert Lafferty had a grant. They had grants in olden times instead of deeds. He had a grant, and when he passed away, the grant moved from Eastville into Richmond. And we had to get a lawyer to go over and find out all the stuff about the island. Because, see, old man Lafferty had about 7 children. And Paul was only one of them, And Grover, Albert's father was one. That's my half brother and a sister. And Daddy and Captain George Marshall, they married sisters and brothers. They had a part in that. Mary and my daddy on Hog Island had a part in it and all that. Well, they thought they did, but see, they didn't have nothing because they hadn't paid the rent, hadn't paid the taxes. And I had already paid the taxes from 1930, and Pop had paid the taxes before me. So several people tried to get the taxes away from us. And I went one day, not stealing, was trying to get damage to his oyster ground, and the target was on Godwin's Island. And they didn't bother his oyster ground, he just did that. But he got $20,000 out of that. But him and a lawyer together, that was Lawyer Adams at Eastville. And I had already been to him to see what we could do about the island. See, he just went the other way. Well, I didn't do anything else about it. So one day, the conservator called me from Washington, D.C., and they asked me about it. Well, come find out, when we went into it, the Boy Scouts wanted to put a tent down there, and Longfellow, Strongfellow, what was it? Dorothy Good's husband. Stringfellow, that's his name, from Richmond, so I don't know where he was from. Anyhow, one of them married Dorothy Good. You know, Francis. And I went up here I went to a lawyer up there, and we got the island, they came in.
But anyway, what about the government came in?
And when the government came in, I had my brother-in-law, and he communicated with them. And after he did that, we didn't say anything else to Eastville about it. We got, all of our business was done in the house.
Yeah, but Daddy had all his land down there for his oysters and everything, and when the war came along, the
That's when
War,
they bummed it up. Well,
they took it.
yeah.
They don't ask you.
Told him he couldn't let, see, he went down there to work, and they were going to shoot it, because it was Grover's land all the time. So when we when they come down from Washington, they got a car and come right over my house, and we got everything. He called Eastville, and they didn't tell him who they were, and asked them how much it would cost to record a will, a deed. He went up there and threw the deed down there, threw the money down there, and the conservatory bought it. That's how I had to get it.
Can you tell me about,
That's the way we had to get it.
can you talk about how, your husband's oysters?
Yeah, when Daddy had planted he had all his oyster ground down there.
Yeah.
The government came in and told them they wanted it for a bombing range.
Yeah.
And he couldn't go over
Well,
there.
it was the beach. In the beach, the abandoned beach, was where the bombing site was. Well, when they dropped the bombs, they dropped it on this target on the beach. It wasn't on his oyster ground, see?
But they wouldn't let him.
But the lawyer said it was, and found it all on the cover.
See, that was his line.
So,
Okay,
that,
can you talk about him being
then
an
we
oyster?
sold it.
Daddy?
Tell us about your daddy being an oysterman.
No,
Or,
her
I
husband.
mean, your husband being an oysterman.
Huh?
Daddy being a waterman. What he did.
What he did on the water, his most was clamming. But he oystered, he crabbed, he done anything to make an honest dollar.
And he got more clams than anybody
He
else.
had dug, he said, he had dug as many as 3,000 clams a tide. I mean, 30,000 clams a tide. And when you're digging them clams, you know you're working. And so he couldn't go out and work. The people knew that he's getting these clams. They'd go there and trample around and mess the signs up. They have signs. And they have holes too, you know, but they have a little water sign. And then they use these boats and go there and wallow the clams out, you know, and wash them out. And then they started with the grudging. Well, he got sick, and that's when he stopped work on the water.
Yeah, but before that, he used to bring the terrapins up and the
Oh, yeah.
clams.
He kept pulling up, you know, I think terrapin, I think you have to have them in the wintertime. They're more plentiful in the winter and down in summer. And these sports are that he knew because he was cooked it down there to Joe Crumb's lodge. And he met all these sports, and they like terrapins, and he would catch these terrapins. They give him $50 a dozen for them. And they'd be these great big terrapins. They'd be about 6 inches on the bottom. You have to have a measurement. And he'd get them in these big boxes, and he had them to Annapolis, Maryland, where Papa Hable was.
That's pretty good money, $50 for 12 turtles.
He wouldn't have over 4 or 5, but and then we have bills, you know, and then we pay up all our bills, and he got that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that because we didn't have no help. I didn't have no mother and dad, and Grover's dad had gone back to Jersey, and they had no grandparents at all. Everybody
Well, when I was little, we had Pop, but he stayed down at Nathan Cobb's. When who he was at the
Pop.
Watch House.
Yeah, he stayed down there.
Now, Pop used to carve.
Yeah.
Vic Smith said he has a couple of decoys that have Lafferty on the bottom.
Does he?
Yes. He was in here earlier interviewing.
I didn't know that. We'll see a lot of them.
Who was that?
Vic Smith has a couple decoys that have Lafferty on the bottom of them.
They're Pop's.
Who?
Vic Smith, you don't know him.
No.
I do.
Would that be your father or your
That's
uncle?
my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
He used to carve us boats and one of these, you know, one of these boats to play with you got that off. Is that
No,
still
it's still
going?
on.
But, no, you don't hear it.
Yes, but she's got the mic.
Oh, okay. No, I was talking about Pop carving. He used to carve us boats.
Yeah.
He used to have the decoys and throw them under the house when they come in after they went hunting. Throw all those decoys under the house.
Oh.
And we didn't have any left of Pop's, but a lot of them that Pop carved.
Well, Hayden got 2 of them. Not Stephen went down there and got his clothes. And when he got sick, he went down there to Watch House, and Lee was staying there, his brother. And he went down and got all Pop's clothes and boats and everything, threw them on the bunch of Pop, on the shelf off. Somebody come and told Grover about it, and so people ran around there and taking it. So, look.
Well, is there anything else you want to tell us before we stop?
Can you think of anything about Godwin Island or Daddy or Pop? How did Daddy get on Godwin Island?
Huh?
How did Pop and Daddy get on Godwin Island?
Well, I don't
Oh,
know.
the grant.
No. Well, they let the scouts go there and come find out that neither one had any education. They asked them to sign it and come find out they signed the part of way of their own. But see, we had already paid the taxes. They hadn't paid anything. So we got it all. I had the deed that my brother and sister had given me. And we had them else.
All right, I think that's good.
Thank you very much.
You've done a wonderful job.
No, I'm tired.
You've done a wonderful job.
I don't know whether I can get to the car now or not.
That's my sister with Daddy. That was
school at the time.
So this was the boathouse that they were living on?
Uh-huh.
And this is the owner, and this is the
That's the one in Oyster by the,
this is the closed porch
well,
off from the living
this
room.
is-
And they have a door here and a door on the other side, and all that's got different rooms.
was that the bungalow?
Yeah.
Yes, I
And
recognize
this,
it.
this one is the dining room.
I've seen this one before. Isn't that nice?
This is the living room.
That's out in front of it.
These are the Coast Guard. This is Mattie Rooks, and this is Elder Carlston.
And Miss Costin
And,
didn't come in.
I don't know, it's a bunch of them in that.
So that would be her what?
And here's the women up here. Miss Hug, May, and I think it's, May.
Is Eldred Pearl's husband?
Yeah,
Was Eldred Pearl's husband?
yeah,